Welcome to Death on Clare Island, Chapter 23B. The telephone yanked me out of my reverie. Is this Brenda Starr, the Irish Colleen? Although Jim Hipple was born, raised, and plotted his beat in the Bronx and had never set foot in Ireland, the retired cop did a decent Irish accent. Go away, I said into the phone, remembering how Jim began calling me Brenda Starr when he learned my first name. I'm not in the mood for jokes at the moment. Well, you called, love, and I've got the information you wanted. It's now or never. Jim's threat reminded me of our relationship's many ups and downs. After leaving the force, he moved to Ridgewood and founded All Towns Investigations Incorporated. The police were inept as far as I was concerned, but in my business, an information broker sometimes needs to be friends with a cop or at least be able to access police information. A retired cop turned licensed private investigator was as close as I'd gotten to making nice with the establishment. Okay, what did you find out? I spoke to one of my many sources, Jim said. Then he paused. I was sure to wait for my compliments on his resourcefulness. When silence ensued, he continued with, and I got connected to a coroner in Dublin. I'm afraid, my dear, that the cops are following protocol. When a small amount of narcotics are found on a body, it's put down to low-level drug use. With the focus on terrorism and other larger crimes, something like this gets closed immediately. Not enough manpower. Same with the girl. I think you said her name was Cher, but, I interrupted, the neighbors said she had a nylon wrapped around her neck. I don't know if that's true. It may just be gossip. I glanced around the kitchen looking for my iPhone, anything I could use to connect to a world that made sense. I'm inclined to think she was murdered. Or she got high and decided to take the easy way out. Everyone is giving up on Matthew and Sharon as a matter of protocol. I shot back, barely able to contain my frustration at how worthless the police could be. Doesn't matter, Brenda. Addicts, especially dead ones, don't deserve investigative attention. Drugs in the bloodstream made it an open-shut case. Now, if you don't mind, I've got a surveillance to get to this afternoon. Catch you soon, Brenda. He laughed and then was gone in an instant. Glancing at my watch, I saw that it was now after 3. Jim's call had forced me off the couch where I'd slept fitfully since Aunt Georgina's visit. Still in my pajamas, I tidied up the kitchen, boiled more water, and made a mug of tea. I didn't care about eating anything or getting dressed. I just didn't care. With the tea in my hand, I wandered through the cottage, looking at the old furniture and pictures that had been in Dylan's family for a few generations. Still undecided about selling the property, I'd also left decisions about the contents to a later date. As I touched one of the antique Victorian kerosene lamps, I realized I yearned for the sense of security and continuity Dylan's family artifacts had provided. Security? Is that what I wanted? I thought about the call from Jim Hipple. I admitted to myself that sometimes we can't help but depend on other people for security. Matthew depended on his relationship with his sister. And where did that get him in the end? Bridget had depended on the police, and they had let her down. And after losing my mother and the O'Briens, I'd grown to believe that my relationship with Dylan would provide me with lifetime security. I caught a glimpse of the red eyes and pale face that looked back at me from the mirror over the fireplace. Then the phone in the kitchen began ringing. As I went to answer it, I remembered Aunt Georgina's advice and mentally agreed with her that I needed to reconnect with my inner strength. I'd expected the call to be from Bridget, but was surprised to hear Peter's voice instead. I know we'll see each other tomorrow evening, he said, but I couldn't wait till then. I wanted to see how your day went. All is well here. The lie came easily to my lips. I'd had enough soul-searching discussions with other people for a while. In fact, I'm waiting for a call from Bridget. Do you mind if we catch up later? It was true. I needed to speak with Bridget, but I just also didn't feel like talking to Peter. Well, okay. Peter paused before continuing. You sound like there's something wrong. Has anything happened? The events of the last 24 hours flashed before my eyes as I twisted the phone cord and considered my answer. Nothing's wrong, I lied, but I'm wondering about this weekend. I'm not sure where our relationship is going. Star, wait a minute. I thought our relationship's been fine. I haven't rushed you, have I? I know you're getting over Dylan. Peter, it has nothing to do with you. I need some time to myself to think about the future, what I'm doing with this place, my mother. There's just too much right now, and I don't need to complicate things further. Plus, I have a business to run in the States. I don't want to mislead you or waste your time, so I think it's best to forget this weekend. Star, will you stop worrying about me? I know how vulnerable you are. You need friends right now, and I want to be one of them. That's all. Why not come out to the island for the weekend? You can forget about your phone, take some walks, and go home on Monday with a fresh outlook. A few days rest, and you'll have everything sorted out. How about it? Fresh outlook. My eyes scanned the kitchen, the old family pictures and pine antiques that decorated the room. I realized that a different perspective sounded inviting. Fine, okay, but I don't think I'm going to be good company. You realize that, right? Peter laughed. Relax. I'll see you tomorrow. Almost immediately, the phone rang again. Star, this is Bridget Sumner. Sorry I haven't gotten back to you, but I've been in meetings all day. What's going on? Her clipped, efficient tone struck a stark contrast to the weariness I'd heard in her voice the last time we spoke. I'm sorry to tell you this, Bridget, but there's not much more I can do. I have a few feelers out about the painting, but otherwise I've hit a wall. And whatever my contact says about it, it's likely not going to make a difference. Sometimes we have to take what we know and make sense and peace out of it. I'm sorry. I toyed with the telephone cord again, noticing that it was beginning to lose its shape from all the tension. Tell that to my parents, Miss O'Brien, Bridget replied. It breaks my heart to see them every day. I don't know how to give them closure. If only my brother would fit into the family business, he might still be alive. I'm sorry, Bridget. I really am. We wrapped up our call with more thank yous and pleasantries about my sojourn in Ireland. Afterward, I thought about one word she used in particular: closure. I knew all too well how Matthew's parents felt. Everyone who grieves searches for an end. I looked around the room and headed to bed. This was one day that I wouldn't mind ending.